Hey everyone, Dukaness here with my first ever Destiny 2 raid guide. Based on what I've seen on Reddit, the Royal Beasts, or Pleasure Gardens checkpoint, is causing a lot of trouble. My team came up with an insanely easy way to get this done, without even using a safe room. The idea is to get as many stacks as possible with the Spores. Each player then takes out one beast on their own. When all 6 beasts are killed, the encounter ends. This video will explain the fundamentals and mechanics of the encounter, the process for how we completed it, and any tips and tricks I've come up with so far. I'll show the encounter from many perspectives throughout the video. Let's get into it. I'll start with the mechanics. After clearing adds, the encounter begins when 2 players pick up the prisms on top of the safe room. This platform then opens up, allowing access to the spores in the safe room. The 4 players that did not pick up a prism all grab a spore. The spore players travel together and group up by areas of the map that are lit up purple like this. If they are seen by a beast, the spores and prisms disappear. There is then a set amount of time to do damage and get back to the safe room. When grouped up, a prism holder stands in a beam of sunlight and pulls the trigger to zap the spores. If all 4 players are near the spore when this happens, they will receive a buff of times 12. This buff is what increases damage against the beasts. Every time a spore is zapped, one Cabal Major comes out of a door on each side of the engagement, which can be killed by zapping them with a prism. The spore players travel around the map with the direction of the prism holders, getting as many stacks as possible. When enough stacks are obtained, players kill as many beasts as possible and then return to the safe room. It's rinse and repeat until all 6 beasts are dead, or you run out of safe rooms and wipe. In this video, we're not going to use any safe rooms and we kill all 6 beasts in one go. Let's talk about points of interest. There are 8 possible locations for a spore to light up purple. These locations are relative to the perspective of looking into the engagement from the safe room. They go as follows: first left, second left, back left, middle left, first right, second right, back right, and middle right. Only 2 of these spores will be available at any given time. There are also 6 beasts that roam around. When someone is noticed or your team chooses to deal damage, these beasts all run to a spore, which makes it really easy to find them. 8 spores, 6 beasts. The only 2 spores that a beast does not go to are the middle right and the second left. I've linked a map in the description that shows the routes each beast takes to help you maneuver. Let's talk strategy. With 0 to 24 stacks, so 2 spores, the beast can tank a lot of damage. It gets easier from 24 to 48, but you will melt them with 60 to 72 stacks, or 5 to 6 spores. As you can see here, 2 rockets will take out 1 beast. I'm showing you this so you can see just how important each additional stack is. Now that you know, let's talk about how to get there. As far as patterns go, it seems like the first 2 spores to open up always follow one of 2 combinations: first left and second right, or first right and second left. My team always goes left first because you can move without wasting any time, as I'll show. If the spore is second on the left, the spore carriers can exit out the left door and immediately go to the middle of the map without being detected. They can take a left out of the middle and walk over to the spore. After getting the stacks, carriers can make their way directly back to the safe room and go to the spore on the right, which is always the first right if the second left was lit up. Be careful of a beast that walks around in a square around the rock in the middle of the screen here. If the coast is clear, approach the second spore. After that spore is zapped, another spore will light up on the left side. Give your left prism holder a second to kill the Cabal that comes out, then they'll tell you which spore has now lit up. So in this attempt, I take out my Cabal that the right prism holder caused to come out when they zapped the second spore. I then spin around and see that the first left spore is ready, which I call out. My team was at the first right spore, so they just doubled back through the safe room. I zap the spore, and then my Cabal. At this point, the right prism holder would call out a 4th spore on the right side this time for the carriers to travel to. Fast forward a little, and the right prism holder zaps that 4th spore, causing another Cabal to come out for me, which I take out. Side note, the beam of light I'm standing in is the best spot to stand on the left side because you can see 3 of the 4 spores and you have a line on both doors the Cabal come from. So moving on, it turns out another spore opened up on the right side after that one, so the carriers just make their way to that one too since it's closer. Another Cabal comes out for me to kill. As you can see, the middle left is now lit up. So I tell my team to come this way for a 6th stack. They group up, and I zap it just before the beasts become restless. At this point, the spores and prisms disappear. We effortlessly kill our designated beast and complete the engagement. Now, that was admittedly a pretty easy run because we were lucky about where the spores were lighting up. Going from second left to first right is the easiest start, and we even followed up with first left as the third spore, which is the easiest third spore to get. You're probably wondering how my team got from the first left spore, so the third spore, all the way to the other side of the map, the ones I named second right and back right. I'll show you that now from a perspective of when I was a carrier. This is a different run, but the route is very similar. Right here, we're at the left door to the safe room, which is right beside where the first left spore is. That was the third spore from the prior example. You travel past the middle left spore and hang a right towards the middle of the map. You then travel through a crack that leads you to the middle right spore, which you walk past. Wait for the beast to walk past you moving left, then follow it towards the second right spore. I don't know exactly how the beasts work, but right here I get pretty close to one. It freaks out a little, but then it moves on. So hopefully that gives you some kind of a benchmark for how they react. Our prism holder calls out that the middle right spore is now also open. That was the one we just walked past through that crack. So we capitalize on a lucky spawn since it's right beside us. The left prism holder then calls first left, so we make our way there. Once we get the 6th stack, we all make a break towards our designated beast and easily kill them. As far as weapons go, I just stick with rockets. I have a curtain call rocket launcher that has cluster bombs, which is what I showed in this video. I'm pretty sure any other rocket launcher would be fine, even with 5 stacks. With 5 stacks, you'd need more ammo than I used, but you will have plenty of time to get that off. Swords are also extremely effective, as are supers. So, after rewatching the footage, I realized it might look a little confusing at first glance. I promise that you will get the hang of this pretty soon by learning from each mistake. Also, I can't see a pattern after the third spore. It gets random. So after the first 2 that I showed, you need at least one player that has memorized the routes that the beasts take so that they can guide the team as efficiently as we did. It is difficult, and you are going to wipe as you get the hang of it, but it can be perfected in 10 to 12 runs, which is how long it took us. Once you have someone comfortable moving around the map, it's super easy. I also showed you guys a lot of the common routes to take, and I linked a map in the description, so you have all the tools you need. There's not much more I can do, so I'll wrap this up. I'm doing a giveaway for a copy of Destiny 2 in my Twitch channel on Friday, September 22nd. It'll be at night as I play Trials with my clan. My channel is linked in the description. Anyone can enter for free, so definitely check that out. Other than that, make sure to leave a like if the video was helpful, and feel free to ask any questions in the comments below. It's good to be back, and I'll see you guys soon. Dukaness out.